Have you ever wondered why the world feels so divided? Why everything seems to swing between polar extremes, good versus evil, light versus dark, right versus wrong? What if I told you that these very divisions, the ones we cling to, might just be an illusion? When we look at life, it's easy to get caught up in this duality, this constant pull between opposites. It shapes our experiences, our judgments, and even our perception of ourselves. But what if the real truth is that this duality, this battle of good versus evil, is not the ultimate reality? What if, instead, we are living in a world where all is one, and the separation between these concepts is a trick of the mind? In this video, we'll explore this concept of duality, why it's an illusion, and how understanding it can radically transform your perception of life. We'll look into ancient spiritual teachings, modern science, and practical exercises to help you shift your mindset. This isn't just about theory, it's about understanding how you can change your life by embracing oneness, understanding your true nature, and breaking free from the limitations of duality. So are you ready to take a journey beyond good and evil? Let's dive in. The illusion of duality. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. You look at your reflection, and you see yourself, a separate entity from the world around you. But what if the reflection is not separate at all? What if it's simply a part of the same surface, made of the same material, but perceived as distinct? This is how duality works in our minds. We perceive opposites, good and evil, light and dark, because we are conditioned to do so. But what if we were to step back and see that they are not two separate forces at all? In the realm of quantum mechanics, for instance, the observer effect tells us that reality is not fixed. The moment we observe something, we influence it, shaping what we see based on our beliefs and expectations. Let's take the story of a man named Adam. Adam grew up in a world where everything had a label, right and wrong, good and bad. One day, Adam found himself at a crossroads. He was faced with a difficult decision and didn't know what to do. In the past, he would have sought out the good choice and avoided the evil one. But this time, something shifted. He began to question his beliefs. He asked himself, what if both choices are part of the same experience? As Adam pondered the choices before him, he realized that the decision wasn't about picking good over evil. It was about alignment with his inner truth. This shift in perception allowed him to make the decision without the usual inner turmoil. He saw that both choices had their lessons, and both were part of the same fabric of existence. Now, pause and reflect. Think of a situation in your life where you felt trapped between two opposing forces, something that feels like a clear choice between good and evil, light and dark. Take a deep breath and close your eyes for a moment. As you breathe deeply, imagine that both of these forces are simply different sides of the same coin. No separation, no judgment, just experience. Allow yourself to feel the tension between these opposites dissolve. Release the need to choose a side. Instead, focus on your inner knowing, your alignment with your highest self. Now, take a mental note of any shift in your feelings. Do you feel more at peace? This exercise is about recognizing that the duality we perceive is only a product of our thoughts, and by letting go of this binary thinking, we open ourselves to a greater sense of unity. Pause here and reflect. What areas in your life are you seeing in black and white terms? How might you approach them differently if you let go of the idea of opposites? The power of non-duality. What if I told you that you are both the observer and the observed? What if the world you see around you, the people you interact with, are not separate from you, but reflections of your own consciousness? In the world of non-duality, everything is one. There is no other. What we perceive as dualities, good and evil, self and other, are simply illusions created by the mind. This concept is reflected in ancient spiritual teachings across cultures. In the teachings of Vedanta, for example, we are told that Atman is Brahman, the self is the universe, everything is connected. Imagine this. You are a wave on the ocean, not separate from it, but an expression of it. The wave may rise and fall, but it is always part of the ocean's flow. So too are we expressions of the universal mind, sometimes appearing as good and at other times as evil, but always part of the same vast consciousness. This is where quantum mechanics and spirituality beautifully intersect. Quantum entanglement tells us that particles, even when separated by vast distances, are still interconnected. Similarly, non-duality teaches that all of life, though appearing separate, is inherently interconnected. Take a moment now to think about your relationships with others. Is there someone in your life whom you label as evil, or perhaps even yourself in some way? Close your eyes and visualize this person or yourself as a mirror of your own consciousness. See them not as separate, but as a part of you with their own struggles and growth. Notice how your judgment softens. Can you begin to view this person through the lens of unity, understanding that they too are part of the same universal consciousness as you? Pause and reflect. In what ways can you begin to see others as reflections of your own consciousness? How might this shift in perspective affect your relationships and your perception of the world? The subconscious mind and perception. Have you ever wondered why some people can experience the same event yet perceive it entirely differently? Why does one person see a challenge as an opportunity while another sees it as an insurmountable obstacle? This is where the power of the subconscious mind comes into play. Neville Goddard, in his teachings, emphasizes that the subconscious doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. The stories we tell ourselves, the beliefs we hold, shape our reality. This is why what you perceive as good or evil is not fixed. It's a product of your inner world. When you begin to shift your perception, you shift your experience of the world. This is the key to transforming your life. By changing your beliefs about good and evil, right and wrong, you can begin to see the world through a lens of unity and oneness. Now, take a moment to reflect on a situation where you've judged someone as evil or wrong. Close your eyes and, with a deep breath, visualize the person or situation in front of you. Now, Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this person or situation? Take a moment to rewrite the story. See them as a part of your own experience, a mirror of your own beliefs. How does this change the way you feel? Pause here and reflect. How can you change your perception of the world by changing the story you tell yourself, embracing unity and letting go? What if the key to transcending duality is not to fight against it, but to embrace it? What if you could let go of the need for control and allow life to unfold as it is in all its beauty and complexity? In non-dual teachings, letting go is often emphasized as the path to freedom. By surrendering the need to judge, to separate, to control, we allow ourselves to experience life in its full richness. This is where detachment comes into play, not as a denial of the world, but as a release from the need to label, judge, or fight against it. Pause here and ask yourself, what am I holding on to that creates duality in my life? Is there something or someone I'm trying to control or judge? Now take a deep breath and imagine letting go of that need to control. Picture yourself releasing the judgment, allowing things to simply be as they are. Notice the sense of freedom that arises in this space. Pause and reflect. How can you practice letting go of the need to judge and control in your life? Integration and transformation. Imagine that you've embraced the teachings of non-duality, let go of your judgments, and shifted your perception of the world. How does your life change? When you embrace the oneness of existence, you begin to live from a place of alignment. You no longer see yourself as separate from others or from the world around you. You recognize that everything is interconnected and that your thoughts and actions have a profound impact on your reality. By applying these principles, you can begin to experience quantum leaps in your life, shifting from one state of being to another with ease. The world begins to reflect back to you the unity you now embody. Now take a moment to reflect on the key takeaways from this journey. How can you integrate these teachings into your daily life? Try this every day. Take a few moments to remind yourself that all is one. Whenever you feel judgment arising, pause and remember that everything is interconnected. Practice viewing the world through the lens of unity. Pause here and reflect. How can you live your life today with an awareness of oneness? So, where do we go from here? The journey of transcending duality is not an overnight process, but a lifelong practice. By embracing oneness, shifting your perception, and letting go of judgment, you begin to experience the freedom that comes with understanding that good and evils are simply two sides of the same coin. This understanding isn't just intellectual, it's a profound transformation that shapes every aspect of your life. As you integrate these teachings, you will begin to see your world differently, with more peace, harmony, and unity. Now, I invite you to take the next step. If you feel inspired by this message, share this video with others. Like, comment, and subscribe, and begin your own journey of transformation. Remember, the world you experience is a reflection of your consciousness. Choose unity, choose love, and watch your reality transform. Thank you for watching, and I wish you peace, oneness, and limitless potential.